And we're going to hello to everyone who is here. If you'll just give us, we're going to give folks a minute or two to finish lunch and join us, and then we'll get started. As we wait for that, I do want to take a special moment here on behalf of Data to thank our amazing partners, the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce, the Dulles Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Town of Herndon, and the Loudoun Chamber. These are great partners to have. It is sort of and it is, a symptom. It's a sign of the importance of the Silver Line and what this means, what all these new stations mean to the area, that we've got such a range of partners and sort of a geographic, as well as a geographic range. And so we are absolutely delighted to have so many people with us and to have the support and partnership of these important organizations and the town, all of whom have, like so many, have been waiting very patiently, or possibly a little impatiently, for an amazing thing to happen, which is for the Silver Line phase 2 stations to open and to completely sort of change our transportation landscape. And I'm told, just a second, that I need to swap displays here. So let me just confirm that you are seeing a single screen and not many. And I think we have now accomplished that. So thank you. My name is Renita Viva-Dansis. I have the pleasure of serving as the Employer Outreach Manager for the Dulles Area Transportation Association. And to some extent, this is really an extraordinary moment for the organization, which has been charged with promoting green mobility in the area. And to have this, we are now being able to take this to a whole other level with the opening of the new Silver Line phase 2 stations. So we are extremely honored to be here at this point in time and to be sharing this moment with you and with these amazing partners. A special shout out again to the Dulles Reston Chamber of Commerce, to Charles Kapoor, to the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce, Charles Kapoor, to the Dulles Regional Chamber of Commerce, John Boylan, to the Town of Herndon and their extraordinary economic development guru and master of all, Dennis Holste, and to the Loudoun Chamber, whose many members and staff, including Theo, have been wonderful support in all of this. So this is all really an amazing moment. I think at this point we are going to get started, and excuse me for just a second. I'll be right. We're just going to hit pause and be right there with you. So thanks again. So a quick moment, just that, we've discussed our amazing partners. Just a quick moment about Data, the Dulles Area Transportation Association. We are a nonprofit. Our job is to help people get where they need to go, whether that's work, school, getting vets to doctor's appointments, making it easier for people to get around. And our shining light is that mobility is a human right. Where this matters to business and communities is that, well, people need to get to work. And sometimes on the way to get to work, they might need to drop the kids off at daycare or at school. And on the way back, they need to get groceries, and how they do that, and whether that is easy or convenient or not, is part of how people, the decisions people make on where they choose to live and where they want to work. And so this is all entwined in making sure that Northern Virginia is a good place to do business. So that's all very high level stuff. And just a note that we really want to hear from you. So please, at any point, raise your hand. We want to hear questions. We will definitely be breaking for questions, but some of this information is a little dense, and we would be delighted if you, stop us if it's not clear. So so this is about commuter benefits, and you might say, what the heck are they? What do they mean for my bottom line? Could I implement them? What does it mean for hybrid workers? So I'm going to start with the last question first, which is that basically, yes, we're all remote in this great brand new world, but what has been pretty clear in the DC area is that hybrid is settling in for the long haul. And in terms of work days, work from home, we're seeing, for many months now, it's about 35%. This is kind of the steady state of where we are. And you could say, well, the commute doesn't matter if people are working from home most days a week. Well, those days they're not at home. The other, sort of that other part up there, those are the days, well, they're driving to the office or they're commuting to the office in some fashion. And as we know, even those patterns might be different, how they're getting there, whether they're coming from, if they moved a little bit, every single commute is an opportunity to have a crappy, unproductive day. Let's say that you are working from home most days, except maybe you're going to the office 1 or 2 days a week. Well, that is 2 to 4 opportunities a week to be miserable, to show up in the office miserable, and to be unproductive. And that ultimately, in this kind of world that we live in, where everybody's looking for talent and for people to be happy, that makes a difference. So here's the good news, though, is that an amazing, amazing thing, as you guys may have heard, is happening tomorrow. The Silver Line Phase 2 stations are opening. And basically, we've got a whole new world opening up. And obviously, everybody knows that office near Metro, it is a draw for real estate, for recruitment and retention. But from the sort of the perspective of how people can move around is that whether talent lives in West Virginia or whether it lives at that DC wharf, that talent now has new ways to get to work. There are going to be buses running from West Virginia to the Ashburn Metro Station. There's a whole bunch of new express buses that OmniRide will be running from Manassas that will be heading towards Herndon and Reston. It is a whole new world. And the question, of course, then becomes, how do you, as a business, as an individual, community leader, business leader, how do you take advantage of that? How do you stay ahead and take advantage of this amazing opportunity? And guess what? It's our job. We're here to help, and we're really thrilled to do that. So as we prepared for this amazing change, one of the things we started looking at was sort of comparing what's going on in this area to, say, the region as a whole. And there is a whole regional-wide survey of which employers offer commuter benefits. And this just came out this fall. And you'll see that Arlington and DC, 64% of employers offer commuter benefits. When you get out to Fairfax, and this is also Montgomery and Prince George's, but for all purposes, it's Fairfax, it's down to about half, it's 31%. And then when you get to Loudoun, it's half again, 14%. So now it makes sense that Arlington and DC, which are transit rich, have these commuter benefits, but guess what? We now have new Silver Line stations. There's no reason that any number of Fairfax and Loudoun employers can't be using this to be attractive, to stay on top of things, to get new workers, to keep them, to save money, to be sustainable. So so you might now ask, okay, we've heard exactly how amazing commuter benefits are. It sounds like they do everything but maybe take out the trash and whiten your teeth. But what the heck are they? And the answer is, as the lawyers say, they are transportation benefits regulated by Section 132F of the IRS tax code. And federal law allows employees to allocate pre-tax income to use for bus, Metrorail, and van pool costs, and to allocate pre-tax income to use for paying to park at metro stations. Sounds pretty cool. And it is. So what they are, it's just like health, dental, and retirement. And just like those benefits, the employers will save money on FICA payroll taxes. The employees will pay less in taxes. And it's a standard benefit. Benefits vendors such as Health Equity, a whole bunch of folks who are vendors, they provide this benefit. And there are multiple ways to implement it, including one that we will be hearing about a little later, where you run it through Metro, or more formally known as WMATA, which is called Smart Benefits. And guess what? Unlike other vendors, that is a fee-free service. It really is a great fit for local companies. And we are very proud and pleased to have a representative of Smart Benefits here with us, and you'll be getting to hear a little bit more from him a little later on. So you might be like, okay, commuter benefits sounds like everything else, totally routine, but oh, it's open enrollment, we're almost done. What people's schedules change, works change. Does this really meet the current standard of a very hybrid and somewhat different workplace? Well, here's the good news. Commuter benefits are hybrid. You can enroll or leave your commuter benefits program at any time. You can pause or adjust that pre-tax allocation on a monthly basis. So if you are going to be working at one office in 1 month and then moving to a different office that has a different type of commute, you can change that. It is designed to change with your commute and with the employee's needs and career. Even better, it is not use it or lose it at the year end. It rolls over. And it's extra flexible and convenient because you can auto-load it directly to a transit card. There are no receipts. So yes, it is like medical and dental, but it's way more flexible and offers so many more options, which is good because, well, one day you might be working in Arlington and another, the following week you might be in Reston. It varies, you might spend a week home if the kids are sick. These options are all there and the flexibility is built in. And then one other note that I'm going to just point out there is data is here to make it easy, because the cool thing is we have government grant money, which means we can provide a $50 Smart Trip card to any of your employees who enroll in a commuter benefits program. So that's, another little extra benefit there. And obviously we don't want you to forget about that. So having said all this, you might be saying, well, we're, it's mid-November now, we're deep in, an open enrollment. We've made all our plans for dental and benefit. What do I do? Do I have to wait a year? And the answer is, well, actually, you can start offering commuter benefits at any time. You can start, whatever time the company chooses. Just once a decision is made, it can be stood up in about just 2 to 6 weeks. It is not tied to the calendar. It really can be offered at any time. That flexibility is there. So, there's so many opportunities for this, depending on, if your company, whenever it doesn't make sense now, maybe it makes sense in 3 months from now when you're on a hiring spree, or maybe it makes sense, when if your office is moving in the spring to a more metro-friendly location, all kinds of options. But the point is, you can start offering this at any time in the calendar year. So please remember that. I am going to pause for a minute here because that was just a heck of a lot of information. And I am really hoping there are questions. If somebody wants to raise their hand, throw something in the chat, please let me know. And I'm going to lean a little bit on my coworkers here who might be monitoring some of these other channels just to check in and see if there's anything else. And I'm, and please, again, these are, if you are not familiar with these benefits, they are new and they are different. And so please, questions are very, very welcome. Okay, no questions at the moment, which is cool. Just as sort of where we are, going to give 2 examples of how these benefits could apply to 2 different commutes in our area. And the first one, let's say we've got somebody who's commuting from Manassas to Reston. Those, by the way, they'll be taking the new OmniRide Express buses on the I-66 toll lanes. So they will pay money to get on, costs money to ride that bus. And then they'll take that bus to Innovation Station. And then they will get off and transfer to Metrorail at Innovation Station. where they will take it for a couple of stops. Let's say, for example, depending on what, let's say they're going to take it to Reston. So it costs money to ride that OmniRide Express bus, and it costs money to ride Metro. Well, here's the good news. Both of those costs, both the bus and the rail, can be paid using the pre-tax dollars of the commuter benefit. So, that's money that, that employee can use with, with their company support. Those costs can be, if they select a pre-tax deduction, that can be paid with pre-tax money. And it gets, slotted right into a Smart Trip card, because OmniRide, those express buses will use the Smart Trip card, Metro Smart Trip card, to pay. So it's really simple. Now, if you'll bear with me, there's one other wrinkle to the benefit, which is particularly important for those of us, people who will be commuting in, and people who will be driving in to, say, Ashburn. We've discussed, I think we're very clear, there's a commuter benefit that can be, you get to use your pre-tax dollars for a transit or a van pool commute. There is also a parking benefit, and that allows you to use pre-tax dollars to pay for parking at metro stations. So each of them is a max of $300 a month. So if you are one of those old school folks, maybe you work in a secure location, you are always in the office, well, $300 a month for, for transit, plus $300 for that, parking benefit, that's up to $600 pre-tax dollars per month. And now, just a side note that the funds can't be combined, but we can get into that later. So again, this is a flexibility of these benefits that understands that in some cases, folks are driving to a location and then getting on metro or bus. And so let's take an example of that. Let's say we've got an employee from Ashburn to Herndon. They drive and then they park at the Ashburn Metro station, which costs money. And then they take Metrorail to Herndon. And again, that rail ride costs money. Well, the good news is this, that the parking at the Ashburn Metro station, again, can be paid for via pre-tax dollars via the parking benefit. And that Metro rail ride from Ashburn to Herndon, those costs too can be paid for pre-tax using the transit benefit. And the cool thing, and Mr. Watson of Smart Benefits will go into this in a little bit more detail, is this could be done on a single card. Again, the money streams a little differently, but the good news is you only have to have one card as you, pay and punch in, so to speak. So just to clarify, and again, I know that there's a lot of information here, what's eligible for the commuter benefits? Because there's a lot. Obviously, everybody's familiar with Metrorail. Well, guess what? There's also VRE, which are, the commuter rail stations. And for some folks, that can be part of their commute. And again, those costs can be paid for pre-tax under the transit benefit. And while the other part that's worth mentioning is buses. There are lots and lots and lots of buses. And yes, they are all eligible for the commuter benefit. Some of you may be familiar with OmniRide, others with Fairfax Connector, with RIBS, and of course the Metro buses. All of these are eligible under the transit benefit. Vanpool, which is a slightly bigger version of carpool, and we're happy to talk about that separately, also eligible for the transit benefit. And then there are two lesser known offerings, one's Uberpool and Liftline. Again, also eligible for that transit benefit. What's not eligible? Tolls, sorry. Fuel and mileage, sorry. Lyft or Uber services that aren't those two mentioned. Carpool, which doesn't meet the vanpool requirements, and business travel. So and then the good news is, okay, so that's what's not eligible. And again, a reminder that you can pay pre-tax and parking at the metro station or location from which you commute to work. that again can be paid with by pre-tax dollars. So having thrown a lot of information at y'all, I'm just going to take a moment here to ask you, please, if anybody has, if anybody has questions, and, please, use the Q&A. We would love to hear them. There, and again, we are also, just a reminder that we here at Data our services are entirely free, and you do not, if we are more than happy to meet with you individually or any of your clients or your businesses to go over some of these details and see how this would work for you. But again, if you have any questions right now, please feel free to use the Q&A. And I see Christy has raised her hand. And Christy, can you throw it into the Q&A? I'm going to take a minute here to, oh, here we are. Christy, Christy, excellent question. Is the pre-tax dollar contributed by employee or employer? Killer question. And I, appreciate that, because we are now about to jump forward to, I'm going to jump forward to 2 slides, because that is actually the killer question. And here's the answer. Since we are in a hybrid flexible world, the answer is kind of hybrid and flexible, and it is entirely up to the employer. And all employers can handle it however way they want. In some, many cases, basically it's the employee pays. The employee sets aside the money pre-tax, and it's kind of like the HSA or FSA. It's, your transit FSA. There are some employers who do pay up, do offer those tax-free subsidy benefits of up to $300. And then there are some that it's a combination of some kind, where the employer decides what their policy is, and maybe they will be, 50-50 or 1/3 or more. So it is entirely up to the employer, and there are a multitude, whatever makes sense for them and whatever sounds appropriate for their company. I guess what we have seen for whatever it's worth, certainly government agencies tend to lean toward the employee, where the employer pays. Sometimes that's true of nonprofits, and in Northern Virginia, it generally has been more employees, but there are no hard and fast rules. It's what makes sense to that company. Any other questions, Christy? Okay. So that is something we can come back to, for other folks have questions as well. And just a note on the tax savings, and obviously these are estimates and they change depending on employer and business, but certainly the individual workers can save up to $1,100, $1,200 a year in taxes. The business costs, because you're lower on FICA, that's lower by as much as $250 employee per year. And, the situation is, for example, if a business may not be, it's one way to, there's some HR departments who may be, sort of heavier on some of the benefits because, it's maybe a bonus, maybe, serious bonuses and serious raises aren't an option, but this is something that, basically the employee feels like they're getting, it's literally more money in their paycheck, and well, it didn't come from the employer, and the business saves cost all on its own. So those are some of the, so that is sort of the basics of some of this. I am going to turn this over to the amazing Al Watson of Metro's Smart Benefits. One of the really cool options that we have here in the DC area is that because of, as I mentioned before, certainly these benefits are available through any number of standard of vendors. But we do have a really lovely option here, which is that you can go through Metro, which will not charge you fees. I'll be honest, sometimes it's a little bit more work for the in-house HR folks, but again, no fees. And the customer service is amazing. And Al is, you send Al an email and you might be hearing him, your phone may ring and about 30 seconds later answering the question. So I am going to hit mute on myself right now and ask Al to take center stage. And Al, you just tell me when I should hit the next slide.
All right, thank you, Ronit, and good afternoon, everybody. And I want to thank Data for inviting me to be a part of this webinar and for just giving a brief overview of our Smart Benefits program that we offer here at Metro or WMATA. Next slide. What is Smart Benefits? Well, Ronit kind of hit on a lot of this, but I'll just go over it again. Smart Benefits is a simple fee-free way for employers to allow employees to commute tax-free. And as she mentioned, employers may offer Smart Benefits in one of three different ways. Employers can offer as a direct employee benefit, meaning that the company pays for it as a tax-free benefit, or employers may offer this as a pre-tax benefit, meaning the employee pays for it, or Smart Benefits can be offered as a combination of both. Some the employee pays and some the employers. Most private sector companies provide this as a pre-tax benefit, meaning the money comes directly from the employee paycheck, pre-tax, which saves employees monies for their commute to and from work, and the money goes directly to their Smart Chip card. In 2023, about a month and a half from now, the monthly max is going up to, for transit, as Ronit mentioned, 300. For transit and parking is 300. Now, currently in 2022, it's 280, but in a month or so, it'll be 300 for each transit and for parking. Next slide. How does Smart Benefits work? Your monthly Smart Benefit order is automatically sent to each employee's registered Smart Chip card, which means each person that's going to participate would need to have their own registered Smart Chip card. Smart Chip cards can be purchased at any Metro rail station, vending machine. You can go online to our to our website, which is WMATA.com, and you'll see the Smart Chip icon or logo there, and you can purchase a Smart Chip card online. And once you get a Smart Chip card, you simply want to register the card as an employee in their name, address, city, state, zip code, and there's a few security questions that need to be answered, and instantly the card is registered. They can then provide the information to the employer to add them into their Smart Benefit account. Each employee's Smart Chip card account to purchase passes for any system that accepts Smart Chip card, and Ronit just went over that. The Smart Chip card can be used at most of the public transit systems in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas, such as the OmniRide, the Loudoun County bus system. It can be used on Fairfax Connector. It can be used on VRE, Virginia Railway Express, for long distance commuting. On the commuting train, it can be used on van pools, Metro Access. It can be used on any public transportation system you can think of. Third-party providers, as I've just mentioned, can be selected to ride on MARC, which is a long-distance commuter train that comes out of the Baltimore area into Washington, D.C., or VRE and van pools, and even more beyond that. Employees must tap their Smart Chip card to a Smart Chip target to claim or access a portion of their benefits sent to their smart chip card. For those employees that ride Metrorail or the area buses, you tap your card to access the benefits. If you're using the one above on the third bullet item that says third-party transit provider, you simply are entered into your company's smart benefit program, and then you set up what we call a passenger allocation account to send your money directly to VRE or Mark Train or to van pools or to Metro Access. So there's no tapping necessary for those individuals. It's very easy, very simple. You log into your account, personal smart chip account. You select you want to add a van pool or transit service providers, we call it here at Metro, and you enter in your amount that you want. You select your transit service provider. Mark, or I should say MTA and VRE even have a mobile app on your phone. So you just simply scan your phone if you set it up that way. No need to purchase a paper ticket, and you pay your fare that way. It's very easy, very simple. Next slide. Anatomy of a smart chip card. As I mentioned before, most private sector companies do the pre-tax option. They provide a benefit not as a tax-free, but as a pre-tax option. In looking at this graphic that I have on the screen on the left side, if we had a magnifying glass and we could look inside the interior of a smart chip card, is divided into three separate, we call it purses or compartments or sections on the smart chip card. One section is called transit, another one is parking, and the other one is personal stored value. And each one is significant. The transit purse or benefit are restricted and can be used for Metrorail bus or regional bus partners. As I mentioned, for Loudoun County Bus, for OmniRide. It can be used for the ARC bus in Arlington, Virginia, or Dash in Alexandria. If you receive a transit benefit, that's where your money would go. If you receive a parking benefit, the money would go into what we call a parking purse, and that money in parking can be used to pay for your commute. If you're parking your car at a Metro parking garage, you simply tap your card as you exit the parking lot in most parking garages, and the money is subtracted from the parking purse. If you're riding a bus, the money comes from your transit purse, or if you're riding Metrorail, it comes from your transit. You can't switch one for the other. If you run out of parking or transit benefits, then your after-tax funds, which is in the personal stored value, is no restriction there because this money has already been taxed. It can be used to pay for transit if you have no more money in transit, or parking if you have no money in parking. Next slide. Getting started with smart benefits. Step one, prepare. Identify as an employer those employees that want to receive a transit and a Metrorail parking needs. In other words, employees must tell you, I live at such and such a place and I need a transit benefit, or I need a transit and a parking benefit. Step two, consider how you'll treat the unused benefits. And Renee kind of touched on this. If you're doing the pre-tax option, you might want to select rollover for your employees, meaning that if I receive 100 and I use $90 of the 100, what happens to the 10? Do I want that 10 to roll over into the new month? And that's what rollover is. Non-rollover is just the opposite of that, meaning that if I receive 100, I use 90, the 10 that I did not use will come off my card and come back to the company smart benefit account as a credit. So depending on how you are paying for the benefit as a pre-tax option, you'd want to choose rollover as it comes out of the employee's paycheck directly to their smart chip card. Any of their monies they don't use on that smart chip card, you want them to keep that money on their smart chip card. It will accumulate as the time goes on. Consider how you're going to pay us for the benefits that you're ordering for your employees. Remember, Smart Benefits is an employer-sponsored program. So you're basically administering the program, although it's free, there is some administration to the program. It's very simple. It's not difficult at all. And you would pay us either ACH, meaning that you could set it up so the money comes out of your bank account directly. We withdraw it. You give us your banking information, or you can choose the opposite, where you can send the money to us, much like a wire transfer, but much cheaper. Or you can choose credit card, and we accept most of the major credit cards: Visa, Discover, Amex, or MasterCard. To get started, to open up an account, you simply go to wamada.com/smartbenefits. There's an online application. You simply put in your name of your business, your address, city, state, zip code. You put in your point of contact information, phone, fax, email, and you select the method of payment. And that's it. Once you do that, we will receive your enrollment. We will then send you an email acknowledging that your enrollment has been received at Metro. You'll be assigned to an account rep like myself, who will then work with you to help you get your account set up, to answer any questions you may have, not just in the beginning, but ongoing, as long as you're doing business with us here at Metro in the Smart Benefits program. Once your account is set up, in the next step, you want to collect your employees' Smart Chip card serial numbers. If they have an actual Smart Chip card, it can be found on the back of their card. It will start off 0167 followed by 16 digits. It's a 20-digit number in total. So you need your employee's Smart Chip card serial number, their name, and the benefit amount they need. Remember, the benefit amount could include their transit amount only, or it could include their transit and their parking if they're parking at a Metro parking garage. And then the last bullet item, configure your Smart Benefit account and assign the monthly amount. In Smart Benefits, it is deadline driven. Between the 1st to the 21st of the month is when you can set up your account, meaning you can add employees in your account, make changes ongoing in terms of increasing, decreasing, taking people out. After the 21st at midnight, no more changes can be made. On the 22nd, payment is due. And on the 1st of the following month, the benefits will then load to your employee's Smart Chip card. Once you put them in the system in the beginning, that's all you have to do. It's a recurring amount, no more adding people in the system each and every month. So it's very easy to set up. The most work you'll do is getting the setup in place. Once you get it set up, you just simply monitor it. If you need to add someone else in, you need to take someone out, increase, decrease. If you have no changes, the system pretty much runs itself with you just kind of monitoring the activity that's taking place. Next slide.
And Al, just one quick question as we move over to the next slide. And you've sort of set out the steps for how to set this up. Is this something that can be done within 2 weeks or 4 weeks? I think folks it helps to know what the timeline can be in terms of the speed.
Okay, good question. From the time the application is submitted and we receive your payment information, it normally takes, I'm going to say, between 1 to 2 days to get your account set up. Now, as I just mentioned, there are deadlines to add people in the system. So today being the 14th of November, if you want to get started in Smart Benefits for the 1st of December, you want to make certain that everything is in place in terms of getting your account set up, submitting your payment information, adding your employees in by the 21st of the month. Benefits will then be available on the 1st day of December. So once we receive your payment information, it only takes us a day or two to actually get your account set up. But then there's other steps the employers will need to do to actually place an order in Smart Benefits, and that includes entering the employee's Smart Chip card serial number, their name, and the benefit amount, which in itself, you can do that within an hour or less. And that would be the help with someone like myself as your Smart Benefit account representative or executive, which leads me to the slide that we have on the screen. We're here to help. If you need help, we have our customer support and FAQs. We have Smart Benefits training videos that we actually go through some of the steps and more that I've just shown you. For employers, if you have questions, you simply call us at the number on the screen. 202-962-1326. And have your Smart Benefits account number ready for employees. If they have problems or issues or questions, they simply call our Smart Trip customer service at 1-888-SMART-TRIP or 1-888-762-7874. Or you can email us at smarttrip@womata.com. Customer service hours are available 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And for those employers who do set up an account and assign an account rep like myself, of course, my email address is listed there, alwatson@womata.com, and my phone number is there. As Ronit just mentioned, I love to hear from any of you on the call to answer any questions that you may have in depth to get a better understanding, not just in the beginning, but ongoing as you do business with us. And with that being said, I'll turn it back over to Ronit.
Thank you. And I'm going to note, I'm just going to note again that Al, when Al says they do customer service, he's not kidding. I want to be really clear about this, is that in my fantasy world, you know, Al does the customer service in my internet, my phone, my cell phone, my healthcare. You know, I have emailed Al and turned around, and the next thing I know, the phone was ringing because it was Al. You know.
Well, thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that support, and I love to not just sell you the service, but also provide you the customer service, because I know what it's like to call and get an automated, you know, we've all done that before, but it's nice to get someone either to pick up when you call or to call you back in a short amount of time. So we're big on customer service here at Metro with the Smart Benefits program.
And again, you're not charging fees the way the way standard HR vendors do.
That's correct.
Yes. So, and this is something that, you know, as we inaugurate, you know, a whole bunch of new metro stations, you know, the part where the businesses around them, you know, can take advantage of this part of Metro is actually really exciting. And we have questions in the Q&A from, of course, so, and I think we have just set this up. So I believe we can actually hear from people, and just give me a second as we are going to call on you, and we'll do this in order first. Mr. Pickford.
Yeah, the quick question was whether or not the commuter benefit programs can be used for any bike expenses, bicycling, bike lockers, etc.
They may be in DC at this point in time. I don't believe so, but we will be double checking on that. But they've been focusing just on transit, and certainly we wish it were wider. And so, you know, I suppose the question of whether or not you're, and I'm going to get esoteric here, if you are paying for a bike locker at a metro station that you ride, if that then gets covered, that is a possibility that I can see. Bike share certainly has some great deals for employers who want to promote it, but I don't believe that they currently come under the transit benefit, unfortunately. But thank you for asking the tough question, and we get to go back and do more research. That's a good one. And now, Mr. John Boylan. If you could unmute yourself.
I was hoping to get away and not be on camera speaking.
Tough, buddy. Not a.
What are the typical costs? I know it's, you know, there's an it depends, but if I'm out in Innovation Station, want to go to Tyson's to commute, what would the typical cost be? I'm trying to anticipate for members and potential employees. What are we looking at for fees? Okay.
And I will actually, I would say that, and as we know, it depends on the time of day, but Innovation to Tyson's, you know, I would guess it's, you know, about the $4 range, but I want to, you know, we'll pop in, and if somebody could pop in and double check on the womata.com site, we may have that information live now. And no, those are key questions. And one of the things that we didn't want to get too deep into, too complicated here is that for those who are more frequent riders, Metro has adjusted their monthly passes so that, it used to be that the only way the monthly pass saved you money was if you were in the office for 5 days a week for sure. And now the monthly pass can save you money if you're in the office 3 to 4 days a week. So there are some other options there, but
Ronnie, can I add to that question or to the
Yes,
answer you're
sure.
given? If the gentleman would like to go to call our customer service, they could also provide fares because, as everyone knows, the Silver Line extension opens tomorrow, so the fares are public now. So you can call customer service and they could tell you if you're going from Tyson's to Innovation or Innovations to Tyson's, what the fare would be for the time of day of travel.
Awesome.
Right.
Thanks, Al. Because I'm just trying to think about if I've got to pay for parking, commute to Reston or Tyson's and what the value, and clearly this is the kind of benefit that really adds value, especially when we're able to look at pre-tax dollars as well. So it's
Sure.
a great
Another way too,
service.
another way I just thought of, you can go to our trip planner and you can put in where you're coming from, where you're going to, that type of thing. And I mean, anywhere in the Metrorail system, including parking, it'll give you that rate.
Awesome.
well, yeah, I can't tell if right now they have still not put in the planning just yet, but they will definitely have it in by tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
It would just, the concern is affordability, because I know a lot of folks have
Yeah.
talked about it. It's better than owning a car. It
Yeah,
gives you some more options, but it's
absolutely.
not cheap. It's not inexpensive. It's something you have to plan for. And that's why as employers is
Mhm.
really something that we're trying to get, right? So we are trying to be a regional, place, a hub for folks to come live, work, and play. But unless we step up as employers and think about helping some of our employees to consider about how to get around, that's another thing that I want my members to be thinking about as you go forward. How about the number of registrations, number of employees? Are there any limits, or can you, a lot of folks are smaller businesses, but the mid-sized businesses, no limits on the number of people a company can register?
Well, no, we say at least one person that, you can have as few as one person participating in Smart Benefits. And I have some accounts that, because they're a small organization or company, they only have one or two. Of course, we like for you to have more, but yeah, the limit, the minimum number would be one, or you can have 1,000, 2,000 if your company is that size. So maximum, there is no limit. Minimum, I'd say one.
Okay, thanks, Al. And then the last one is, not that it would ever happen, but if you lose your Metro card, misplace it and run it out the door, you got to treat it like it's real cash. I mean, it's a
Absolutely.
credit card, right? So you don't want to lose this thing.
Yeah, well, employees can transfer their benefits and their personal stored value from their own Smart Chip card to a new card. They can log into their personal Smart Chip account and they can transfer the money themselves. If they don't want to do that, they can contact their employer and say, employer, I lost my Smart Chip card. I've got a new card. The employer can then enter in their new number and transfer the benefits from the old to the new, because that happens, we all have debit cards and credit cards and they get lost occasionally for one reason or another. So that is an option that can be, the money is not lost. You can just transfer, which is the reason why you want to register the card in order to access the benefits. In case you lose it, the money is protected and you just transfer from one card to the other.
Awesome. Thank you both. Great service. And we look forward to posting this up for our members to see and watch the recording. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And I will just say, as somebody whose unwanted superpower is to lose her Metro card, it's, you register it in, and moving the money over is so easy. And I know this because I've done it a lot. And we're also being informed, really good news, that it is live on the trip planner. It is $3.30 one way from Innovation to Tyson's via the Silver Line. I don't know, is that rush hour when sometimes the price is a little higher? But that at least gives us some idea of the range that we're talking here. Okay, I think this is, thank you all so much for your questions. These were amazing. And again, I hope everybody has, if nothing else, I hope you all understand that if you have questions of any kind, Al, as well as Data, we are here to make this as easy as possible, and we are here to pick up the phone and do it. And now we have, let's see here. Excuse me, we had all that good fun. So as noted earlier, we are here to help, and one of the fun ways that we have to help is that thanks to grants from the Commonwealth of Virginia, the DRPT, we have $50 Smart Trip cards that are available to employees who enroll in commuter benefits programs. They are right there. It's like free money. Please help us give it away. And we know that sometimes that it takes, changing or trying something new can be, sometimes you need a little bit of incentive, a sweetener, and here it is. And just to be clear, that in those $50 Smart Trip cards, this is an ongoing program. We will be available at least through, June 30th of this summer. And we would really love to give those Smart Trip cards away to first-time enrollees in the Commuter Benefits program. So please help us give that free money away. That is one of our goals here. And then since I think we've gotten a little bit, since we've gone into some of the challenges and sort of as we sort of set this up, just to remember why this matters, why this is worthwhile. Better commutes matter to your bottom line. 23% of US employees have quit a job because of their commute. And when you look at the 18 to 34-year-olds, that number goes up to something like 1 in 3 of them. So a nasty commute matters. And, metro commutes can be a lot more pleasant. If you, a business person, you've chosen to be in a location that is near metro. And a commuter benefit highlights that. It underlines that this is here and that it can be part of, this is part of what you're offering to both, to your talent. And here's the other thing is that, well, sometimes people just also kind of don't always see what's exactly under their nose. Like, oh yeah, my office is next to a metro station. Well, again, sometimes you need a little bit of a sweetener. And the best way to get people to try that different commute, that metro commute, is with a financial incentive of, paying for it with some tax-free bucks. And again, that's both, getting them to try that different commute. Again, you're underlining this amazing location that you have paid for and I'm sure is not cheap. And also, it gives them the opportunity, if they're not necessarily happy with their commute, they have an opportunity to try another one. This is not trivial. So we have, if there's nothing else that you take away from all this, we hope that you will remember that's $300 pre-tax a month, that it can be used for bus, for Metrorail, for van pool. You save money, your employees save money. You want to save some more money, you can talk to Al Watson about a no free option. It is really flexible. It is really hybrid. You can enroll, you can pause, you can leave at any time. Individuals can adjust their deductions up and down each month, depending on how their commute or their workplace is changing. And we can help you make it even easier with free $50 to new enrollees. Having said all that, just wanted to check, do we have any other questions in all of this? Please raise your hand, let us know. I think we've covered quite a lot, but if there's some more questions, we'd be happy to answer them individually or otherwise. And there are these, this is a new benefit. And if you're coming into something new, it can sometimes take a while to sink in. And obviously there are some, depending on how you choose to implement it, there are different ways to do it. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions at the moment. So first of all, a huge, huge thank you for your time today. Our contact information is here. I'm Ronit at the Data Trans, and you've got, of course, the one and only Al Watson at Metro. We again would be happy to meet with you at any, whether it's for 5, 10, 15, or 30 minutes to go over what this might mean for you and how does this make sense for your company at this time, or perhaps in 3 months from now as things change. This is an extraordinary time, and we are super fortunate to be able to have this amazing new piece of infrastructure that this does, this is kind of like a once in a lifetime thing. And we hope that area businesses will make the most of it. I would like to once again thank. So those are there. These slides will be available afterwards to anybody, to all. And we can, if you would prefer the abbreviated version, we will send those out to you. And this webinar will be posted live at various locations coming around the net. I want to take a moment once again to thank our amazing partners, the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce, Charles Kapoor, the Dulles Regional Chamber of Commerce, John Boylan, Town of Herndon, specifically Dennis Holste, and the Loudoun Chamber, Theo, and a few others. And of course, the team here at Data, and of course, my great partner, Al Watson. We are all here to help you and this region to make the most of an amazing opportunity that is going to unlock so many different ways of getting to work, getting places, doing business, and developing our communities and our economy. Again, thank you very, very much for your time. We're very grateful.